Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Bella Salon and Day Spa, located at 41 West Main Street in Northeast Pennsylvania, proudly supports Chautauqua Sunrise and its volunteers. More information at bellasalonanddayspa.net. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. From the Access Channel 5 studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Channel 5. Continuing the traditions of Senior Report, we are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week, countywide, from 9 to 10 a.m. Join us by calling in live, emailing us, or checking out our social media. And now, from the Channel 5 studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another chapter of Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels, and what a beautiful morning it is. 47 degrees on the hill in Ripley. Couldn't believe it. I don't normally do this, but I am going to do an endorsement today. I'm going to endorse Punxsutawney Phil. Sorry, Dunkirk Dave. Monday, yesterday, I'll tell you about yesterday in a second. Monday, I was at my house, snow everywhere, and looked out the window, and no less than 40 robins flocked into a tree. I've never seen it before in my life. So not only are the robins back, we reported 2 weeks ago 2 dead skunks on the road. It's spring. It's official. I've been telling you that. You heard it first here at Access 5. Wow, it's going to be a great weekend, and I hope you get out there and enjoy it. Open up the windows, take a walk with the dog or whatever. Get the last of your snowmobiling in. If you're fishing on Lake Chautauqua, look for the flags. They'll tell you whether you can fish out there or not. Just be careful. But anyways, it's going to be a great weekend, and we really seem to have been fortunate this year to have a nice mild winter. So I appreciate that a lot. Anyways, we're glad to have you here today. We got a great show lined up for you today. We got 2 different sections today where you're going to hear about a lot of good stuff going on in Chautauqua County. I'm just going to dive right into my announcements today. We have a lot to talk about. So let's start right off with the Veterans of Valor Project in Ripley. And if you want to pop that up, Jeff. Thank you. Okay, just to let you know, and I've been talking about this every week, but I'm going to do this for a while. The Ripley Veterans of Valor Project is honoring all those that have lived or were born in Ripley that received during combat a particular special Medal of Valor. And I mentioned them before, the Medal of Honor, the Silver Star, the Distinguished Flying Cross, Distinguished Service Medal, Bronze Star, Meritorious Service Medal, Air Medal, and the Purple Heart. Last week, I read to you all the recipients so far that we have in Ripley that have a Purple Heart. Today, I want to just mention those that are going to be honored on these signs. There are going to be very large signs in Ripley that received the Air Medal, and that's Edgar Stebbins, Kelvin Baldwin, Rexford Baldwin, Robert Galbraith, Orrin Grover, Ralph McCutcheon Jr., and Dennis Alexander. Now what's going on is they're raising money. They've got quite a bit of it already in place, and they're going to be these large historical signs at the Veterans Memorial there in Ripley, right down near the school. And everybody that I read, and others that will come to, later down the road someday, their names will be added to these signs honoring them in Ripley. So it's a great project. If you're interested to know more, give Bob McIntosh a call at 814-440-9406. And they are collecting donations, and you can take them down to the town of Ripley and see the town clerk, Becky Carvalho. Okay? Then, my good friends over at St. Susan Center, Jeff Smith and company, they've got Soup and a Song, Saturday, February 27th, so that's a week from today, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. They're going to have 5 specialty soups with breads, desserts, and beverages, and music by Steel Rails, Dave Moeller and Gary Kuckler. $10 at the door, a great project, good food, and great music right there in Jamestown. Good program. Okay, getting back to Ripley, they have a birthday pasta dinner. Ripley's going to be 200 years old this year. It's going to be held at the Ripley Central School cafeteria on March 2nd from 4:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Spaghetti with marinara and meatballs, or Alfredo with chicken. I sound like the maitre d'. Adults $6, children 4 to 12 $5, children under 3 eat free. Family pass is $20. What a deal. Reservations not required, but appreciated. And if you, for more information, call 410-6695. Okay? Then moving along, annual chicken wing cook-off. The proceeds are benefiting the Rural Center of Chautauqua County, and as you know, we had Ms. Schwabik on here not too long ago. This will be held Saturday, March 5th at Peak and Peak, noon to 5 p.m., and there will be awards handed out at 6 p.m. So the great annual chicken wing cook-off at Peak and Peak. Pretty exciting stuff. Fun things to do in March. Okay, coming off onto my notes here. The Children's Safety Education Village will be holding a women's self-defense class on, let me get it here, February 23rd. That'll be a Tuesday from 6:30 to 8:30 a.m. p.m. 6:30 p.m. It's on Route 394 right near the Hughes Educational Center in Asheville. Cost is $20. If you want more information, call 499-8138. Talk to Terry Kinberg, and they'll get you all set up. I understand they've already got about 25 ladies signed up, and this is women's self-defense class, February 23rd at the Children's Safety Education Village. I want to do a shout out to my friends at WRFA, Low Power to the People, 107.9 in Jamestown, letting you know that we are happy to be rebroadcast at 1 p.m. on Tuesdays, and we've got a lot of stuff to talk about today, and you'll be interested to know what we're talking about, so have a listen. Also, for those of you in Jamestown listening to me on the radio on Tuesday, you can go to YouTube, look up Chautauqua Sunrise, and you can find every one of our shows so far, and we're up in the upper 80s, and you get to see what I look like instead of just how I sound, okay? My buddies at the Reg Lene also want me to remind you, coming up next Saturday, a lot of stuff going on here in the county. Circa Ziva, looks like a really cool circus, is going to be going on there, and for more information, 484-7070. And in other news, my friends at Infinity give me a full page every week to announce. They got so much stuff going on there, so let's blast through this as quick as I can. Okay, Infinity Visual Performing Arts is having their March installment, this is hard to say, Pulse Poetry Slam on Thursday, March 3rd at 6 p.m. at the Infinity Arts Cafe. Then let's skip down, what else they got? On March 4th, the next day, they're having their vocal showcase in the cafe. And this is featuring talented vocal lesson students as well as the Infinity Voices Choir. That's free of charge. The Poetry Slam is free of charge. And then, I'm finding the date, March 12th, the second annual Local Artist Showcase will be held on in the Infinity Arts Cafe on March 12th from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. and it features the work of over 20 local visual artists, fun activities for the entire family, and an art auction featuring autographed items by members of the Beach Boys, what? Bella Fleck and Abigail Washburn, Blake Shelton, and more. How do you get that stuff? I gotta get some of that stuff for my show. How cool. Anyways, lots of things going on at Infinity. Great program for kids. Wish I had the opportunity to participate in something like that, because I wouldn't be sitting here. I'd have a mansion somewhere in Hollywood or something. I'd be a great rock star, I'm sure of it. Anyways, they do a lot of good work. Right now, what I want to do is I want to welcome Al Valentin, who is the town historian for the town of Portland, and he's got a really cool project that he's going to tell you about, and I'm going to just swing right over to you, Al. Good morning.
Good morning.
Al, you're going to talk about a family friend of ours, Brad Anderson, who is internationally renowned for his comic strip Marmaduke.
Right.
So why are you here? What do you want to talk about?
Well, I'm part of the Brad Anderson Recognition Committee out of the town of Portland. And about 3 years ago, we got into, we started to thinking about doing something to immortalize Brad Anderson.
Sure.
He's done so much for our county. Well known, like you said, he's worldwide known. So the committee got together, and it's comprised of some of the local residents, but there's also a lot of his former classmates are part of it.
Oh, wow.
So, and we started locally. We got some funding just to get started, and then we started snowballing. We started to advertise locally. But then it turns out that it wouldn't be enough. We knew that Brad had, and Marmaduke had fans and followers throughout the nation and throughout the world.
Absolutely. They just made that movie, Marmaduke, a while back.
Right, yes, right.
And a lot of people don't know that Scooby-Doo was kind of based loosely on Marmaduke originally.
Right, what it was that they wanted to use Marmaduke, but there was some conflict with trademark or something, something like that. So whoever wanted to use Marmaduke just created another Great Dane, and that's how Scooby-Doo turned out.
Right, but Brad's really been a part of the American fabric for what, 60-some years or more.
Oh yeah, Marmaduke himself, that he created, came in 1954.
Wow.
So that's a pretty long time.
I'm older than Marmaduke. Not by much, though. That's 62 years ago.
Right,
So,
yeah.
So what's going on as far as fundraising? You have a really good program going here. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, so we went on what's called the Kickstarter program. And the reason we chose them is because, well, they're well known. They have millions of followers. And people who like to donate, they come to this particular site to find projects to back which they feel are worthy of it. So we started up what they call a page so we could reach out to just about everybody in the world.
Oh, absolutely, because on the internet, anybody who could be sitting in the middle of Germany could go on there and have a look around.
That's correct.
So if they go to the Kickstarter site, what are they going to see?
On the Kickstarter site, our project would be that when you go on there, what you got to do is you get on the Kickstarter.com, you search for Brad Anderson, and then our particular project will pop up. The first thing you'll see would be this.
Oh, how cool is that?
And as you can see in the background is one of his paintings, which is actually, it was never used anywhere else, but he did that for the community. And that's, excuse me, that's actually downtown Brockton.
Well, I remember over the years reading the comic strip, and very often he was talking about little locations in Chautauqua County and in Brockton and Portland.
Oh, yes.
Certain meat markets and
Right,
stores.
he was fond of using the local businesses that he knew of, and his close friends and classmates were also, their names are used.
You never knew who was going to pop up, I know that. Friends of a family, they were in one of the comic strips, and they were getting quite a kick out of that.
I noticed that you showed the statue, and this is what it's going to look like. It'll be next to the town of Portland,
Okay.
which is on 87 West Main Street in Brockton.
Now, will this be outside?
It'll be outside, yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And so,
Right nearby in a small park, actually.
beautiful. I think there's a sign now that says this the future.
Yeah,
home
the
of-
sign indicates where the sign will be, where the statue will be. Okay. Now, on that site, we have what they call levels of, actually it's pledges, because they're not going to collect the money right away. They won't collect the money until the end of the whole funding project process. Now, we've been on for a while, but now we have, I would say, about 8 more days to go.
Ooh, so we better hurry.
So, yeah. But we do have some things coming up which will bounce up what we have already.
How much money are you trying to raise?
We want $30,000.
And say, how far along are you now?
Well, just in this particular Kickstarter, we only have about just a little over 4,000.
Well, that's a good start. Okay.
Yeah, but like I said, shortly, that's going to be bumped up pretty good.
Why?
Within a week
You
or
got
two.
some secret weapon?
Well, we've talked to several people who promised us to put something on there.
Okay, so you got some people
And
lined
it
up.
looks pretty good.
Very good.
So what we do on Kickstarter.com is for the pledges you make, depending on the amount you give us, there's certain levels.
Mm-hmm.
And at these levels, there's certain rewards. I have an example of one of them. We have this, they're called memorial panels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it here, but each of these panels represent a certain time.
Oh, yeah. 1954,
Right,
1971.
yeah, all the way through
Sure.
71, and I think the last one might be 2015, if I remember
Now, these are
correctly.
reproductions, right? These are not original pieces right now.
Yeah, this is reproductions.
But this is the only place you can get this, I'm assuming?
Yes, we've acquired the rights from UClick, who control the trademark.
Mm-hmm.
So we have it we can use the image for whatever we want as far as it's for fundraising.
Great.
Okay. So, like I said before, Kickstarter, you go on Kickstarter.com, excuse me,
You search for Brad Anderson.
you search for Brad Anderson, and as you're facing it, on the right-hand side, you'll see a place where it says, support this project.
Now, you use a credit card, I believe.
Yes,
Right.
you have to use a credit card.
Okay, great.
Some sort of card.
Mhm.
You know, there's no way of getting cash or checks on that.
Right.
But we do have a parallel funding
Mm-hmm.
plan, and that is we sell T-shirts, hats.
Okay, and you brought some with you.
Yes, I do.
Let's have a little look.
I have one on, and here's another color.
Oh, nice.
And this is our logo.
The logo of Marmaduke.
The Brad Anderson recognition logo is
Mm-hmm.
on there.
Okay.
Okay. We also have T-shirts.
Wow.
Some are long sleeve, some are short sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
And on the back, some of them
Oh, look at that.
will have, actually, Brad did this when he was here for Brad Anderson Day about 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
And then we took it to put it on this T-shirt.
You guys are really organized. Very nice.
And
Yeah.
of
Wow,
course you got
that really
sweatshirts.
pops.
It's pretty bright, so.
Yeah.
But we have other colors. And again, it has embroidered,
Whoop.
the embroidered recognition,
There you go.
Brad Anderson Recognition Committee
Okay.
logo on it.
Now, if someone that's watching right now says, wow, I really like to get one of those hats or shirts, where do they go?
Yeah. If you go to the town of Portland,
Mhm.
which is on 87 West Main Street in Brockton,
That's Route 20.
it will be Route 20, right?
Okay.
And the clerk there, Roxanne,
Mm-hmm.
Roxanne the clerk,
Roxanne.
and she'll take care of you.
Okay. So
that's another way of we're raising money.
okay. So Kickstarter is all one word, K-I-C-K, starter.com. Look up Brad Anderson. Get your credit card out and see what the various rewards are at different levels.
Right.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah. You'll see on the right-hand side what's being offered
Okay.
for the rewards. And I'd like to tell you one more thing.
One more, and we got to go.
Sure. There's we've been given by the Brad Anderson family 10 original works by Brad Anderson, and this is the only time anybody will have a chance to get these things. They're done in brush and ink. The smallest one is about the size of a page, and there's all larger ones which are about the size of a small poster.
Okay. And those are on Kickstarter?
Those are on Kickstarter.com.
Okay.
You'll just look up the level. You'll see how much it would require to get them.
Okay.
And what we're going to do with them is we're going to put them in behind glass on a real nice frame to make them look very nice.
Okay, folks, you've been listening to Al Valentin. He is the town historian of Portland, and he's been talking about the Brad Anderson Recognition Committee project. I had to get the committee part in there. I make up things as I go along, but I didn't want to do that in this case. Brad was a personal friend of our family, and he was a great human and did a lot of things for kids and schools and towns. So thanks for coming by, and you promised me you're going to let us know how it's going along and call in and let us know other things that may come along. Okay?
We'll let you know how far we're going, and when we have been successful, we're getting the whole.
You're going to let us know. Maybe we come down and visit with you or take some shots. Okay, folks, you're watching Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm still Doc Hamels. We're going to go to a public service announcement, and then we're going to get to our other guest this morning. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Hold that pose.
New York State had a vision to be the center of the activity in nanotechnology. New York got IBM, Intel, Global Foundries, Samsung, and TSMC to invest over $4.4 billion.
I wanted to lead nanoscale science, so my future is here in New York State.
The New New York works for business. Find out how it can work for yours at thenewny.com.
And we're back. Well, you heard just now from Al Valentin about the Brad Anderson project, and Brad was really a cool guy, and everybody was always shy around him. They said, well, I'd like to get one of his cartoons. And I remember my son, who's in the service, I'd really like one, you know, but he would never go up to Brad. He's a big soldier guy, and so finally my wife convinced Brad to do something for him anyway. So we have some pictures from Brad. It's just wonderful. So check it out, you guys. Okay. You hear her voice every single week here at Chautauqua Sunrise. You don't ever get to see her. Today, you get to see her. I want to welcome my good friend, Linda Spaulding from the Office of the Aging and the Senior Employment Program. Good morning.
Good
You're
morning.
here. You
Good
made
morning.
it.
It's a pleasure being on the show.
We've been talking to each other for years, and we never get to see you lately, and so I'm so glad you're here.
Well, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you. This is a real pleasure.
You brought your team here.
I brought some of my team here,
Okay.
my trustworthy team. And I'm sorry to dissipate the mystery. You know, just hearing the voices.
Well, this is even better. The only thing we're missing is barking in the background.
I should have brought them this morning.
I
They
should have
were
brought Max. We would have a great time. So, why don't you introduce your folks and what they do, and then we'll get right to what's going on at your office.
Well, this is Darla Mellring, who is our peer coach,
Okay.
and she is primarily at the Westfield Patterson Library.
Oh, just down the road from me.
And she
Beautiful place.
It is a beautiful place.
Okay.
And she's there coaching people who are going in for their basic computer training. It's one-on-one, and she'll tell you all
Okay,
about it.
so we'll get to you in a
Okay,
minute.
I'm not going to take your lines away, I'm sorry. And this is Kim Klaes, who is our peer coach coordinator.
Good morning, Kim.
And she oversees what the peer coaches do. And she writes press releases and contacts public officials for the
Okay.
program.
Great.
And this is Marie Duke, who works in our office, and she is doing a lot of things to help us and is also our job developer.
Awesome. Okay, we got names, we got Titles. Now, give me the elevator speech. What in the world are we talking about today?
We're talking about the Senior Employment Program.
Okay.
And I need to clarify some things. It used to be called 55-plus employment.
Okay.
Then it was called Senior AIDS Program.
I've heard that title.
Then that's very popular. But now they would like us to use the very long-term Senior Community Service Employment Program. Yes, it's the same thing as the Senior AIDS Program, but they are requesting that we do that.
Okay. I'll shorten it here because I can't. I don't work for them.
I like to say senior employment. It's easier for
It
people.
sure is.
And normally it's called CSEP. That's Senior Community Service Employment.
Okay.
And you have to say it quite a few times to be able to remember.
Senior employment. Okay. Linda, how long have you been with the agency?
Well, I've done the Senior Employment Program in different phases. For a long time, I did it with Chautauqua Opportunities.
Okay.
We were subcontractors for Office for Aging, and if you remember, the Private Industry Council, all of that. And I did primarily the recruiting and training and job development of individuals. And then Ron V. Klotz was the one who was really the project director of these slots. And then I went on to go to the Office for the Aging, and I've been with them since 2006, so it's kind of like 7 years.
Yeah, great. People are viewing right now and they're saying, okay, senior employment. When you usually use the word senior, retirement usually goes with that. But this is a different mindset. So who wants to talk about why we're talking about seniors working?
Well, for one thing, a job keeps you young.
You are like ageless.
There's a book out. Maturity is ageless, something like that.
Yeah.
There is a book by that name, yes. A job keeps a person young. It keeps you focused. It gives you something important to do. It's, I think, important to have a job that you really enjoy.
Yeah, I wrote an article not too long ago in my column, and I basically said most people think of retirement as one of two things. You either go home to die, or you go home to sit and watch soap operas. And that's not what we're talking about here whatsoever. So who's going to tell me about some of the jobs that people are working on? Let's swing it over. Pick somebody. Who's going to talk?
Well, who would like to speak up first?
Just anybody. Kim's saying, I'm not talking.
Well, I can explain.
Please do.
I can explain
That's
the
why we're
job
here.
that I do.
Okay.
I am at Patterson Library, and people come in, and if they need to learn about basic computer skills, I am there to teach them. But also, if somebody comes in and they're working on the computer and they're like, how do I print this out? I come over and I will assist them. Or if they have something on a flash drive and they need to put it on a CD, again, I will assist them. So it isn't just me waiting for somebody to want to learn about computers. It's any aspect. So I encourage anybody who maybe has basic computer skills but would like to learn a little bit more, just stop in, talk to me. I'm available to help them out.
All right, so you're teaching computer skills. Why?
Yes. I do that because I don't like sitting at home doing nothing.
And does this lead to employment? What you're
Yes.
teaching?
Yes.
Like what?
Well, when I'm done, I can get employment somewhere else. It may not be teaching computers, but this gives me the confidence in order to get another job at some point in time.
So now I'm going to bounce back to Linda for a second, because we have this discussion from time to time. Define senior, because people are thinking, you know, you got to be 100 years old to get to this program. I mean, we're talking
We don't
relatively
take
young
anybody
people.
under 100, no. It's necessary to, in order to be enrolled in our program, you must be at least 55 years of age.
Okay.
And not working.
All right.
And there are certain eligibility guidelines besides that. And people need not worry about what the eligibility guidelines, because when they call me, I'll do a phone assessment to see if they are eligible.
Okay.
But the money does start from the Department of Labor. And
And that pays for Darla to train
right.
people.
We get a grant, and it's a very sizable grant. We get one from Senior Service America Incorporated. They're the contractors
Okay.
that distribute the money from the Department of Labor. But this is where the money comes from. This is where all the regulations come from, the United States Department of Labor.
Okay.
All the things that we are required to do is, those are mandates with them. So individuals must meet these eligibility guidelines, and then I do an assessment, and then enroll them in various openings that we have. And we have just so many openings. Right now, we have approximately 30 people on board with our federal and state program. It's been greatly reduced. I remember when Ron V. Klaes, who was the previous project director, you probably know Ron, he used to come on the show with Reed. When Ron was the project director, they had 80 slots.
Wow. Yeah.
And now we're down to 30. There were very big budget cuts a few years ago for training employment programs, and we were cut by approximately 45%.
Okay.
So there are definitely performance guidelines for us to maintain our program, and also not only are the projects required to meet these performance guidelines, and they're focused upon getting employment off of the program. They call it unsubsidized employment.
Okay.
These positions are called subsidized employment because the wages and everything connected with it are paid through a subsidy, through the grant, but people are encouraged to get off of this program, and that's called unsubsidized employment. We place these people, our participants, who we call senior aides or CSUP participants, to use our abbreviation again, at not-for-profit or government entities.
Okay, let me jump around here. Let me go back to Darla, and then we're going to go to Kim. So be ready, Kim. She's been waiting here patiently. Like, don't look at me. Skip over me. I'm going to guess that seniors that either are out of work because they've been laid off, their company's closed, or they've retired and all of a sudden said, you know, I've got a lot to offer here. I'll bet most of them don't have a resume, do they?
A lot of them do not have a resume.
Because why would they need one? They didn't plan to go back to work.
And a lot of the people that may be at work were before people did resumes, because
you walked in, you talked, you shook your hand, and you got hired. Right. Okay, let me jump to Kim. Kim, how many people in Chautauqua County would you say are eligible to go to work? Do you have any idea? Linda's mentioned you got 30 people on board. There must be more people than you can serve. Do you get a feeling for that at all?
Well, we have our waiting list. Okay. We have about 50 people on our waiting list at any given time.
Okay. So, Kim, what's your role in
I'm the peer coach coordinator. Technically, I supervise the peer coaches, but I mostly learn from them. Darla has taught me many things about the computer. She's helped me a lot. I do lots of data entry, but I do get to do some of the fun stuff. Like the graduation, the computer graduation, I get to organize that. And so it's just a fun, nice event.
How many peer coaches do you work with?
Right now we have 3. We're looking for 1 more.
Okay. Is that something that you're advertising for right now?
We have been.
Okay, so if anybody's watching right now, what kind of eligibility requirements?
They have to be eligible for the program, which that's over 55 years of age, income eligible, and we would really like somebody bilingual, Spanish, can speak Spanish.
Sure. Okay. And how long have you been with the agency?
About a year.
Okay, great. So you two work together. Now let's get down to Marie. What's your role in all this? Kim is glad to move it ahead. We'll be back to you. No, I'm not letting you off easier.
Well, what the program does is give you a chance to develop your skills, which in turn helps you to find a job, gives you a sense of purpose, and gives you a little bit of supplement to your income. Your
title is job developer. Okay, I got to ask, so how's that work?
My job helps to find a job, which, as I said, then has a lot of things that help a person to feel better about themselves, and that's something that everybody wants to feel.
Okay, so if I walked into your office and I was now eligible and so forth, what would you do for me or with me, or what services would you provide me?
What I would do is to lead them in a direction to find a job, and that might be looking at jobs that are locally, that are advertised through the newspaper.
So these aren't necessarily your subsidized jobs?
No,
this could be...
Yeah, this is
all right.
helping develop the skills to then have a job in the community.
Okay.
And when you're there, it helps you to find where those jobs are.
So I'm 55 years old, 60 years old, whatever. I walk into your office. I could use a job for whatever reason. What would you say are the things that you need to help people with most? A lot of people haven't been doing this. It's like all of a sudden they have to go date, go find somebody to hang out with. We're rusty at these things. So what are some of the skills that you need to brush up on? Have been finding?
Well, I think that sometimes you don't really realize the skills that you've had, how they translate into finding a job in the community.
Okay.
Sometimes we just need that little bit of coaching and identifying the things that you're really good at. And as Linda always says, you want to find something that you love. And in turn, you're going to love your job. You're going to feel happy about your life.
Age discrimination, ladies. I'll throw that. Anybody want to talk about that? You're 55, 60 years old, and are we concerned about that in this county? I hear there's more jobs than there are employees. It's just getting the right people lined up with the right jobs. Is that an issue, age discrimination? You're too old?
Would you like me to talk about that?
Throw it out to you. Anybody.
Well, first of all, I'd like to ask you a question. I think I mentioned it when I called in. You can file an age discrimination suit, if you want to file a suit, at age 40. That's considered an older worker.
Wow.
Yeah.
One of my kids is an older worker.
Lots of people are. And now that's, it may have moved up a little bit, but that's traditionally what the code was with the Department of Labor. The thing of it is, I tell my participants and the candidates that the age discrimination is out there, but you shouldn't let that be a deterrent. You need to give a youthful aura. If you're going to give the impression that you're very, very elderly, and I don't use the word elderly with our program participants because of the connotation. Sometimes we think of elderly as being incapacitated, homebound, infirmed.
Right.
We're seniors, we're upbeat, we're capable, we have the skills, youthful. Youth very often is your perspective of how you view things. You welcome challenges, you welcome changes, you're not really set in your ways, you're willing to learn new things. Studies show that mature workers are very dependable. They carry with them an enormous amount of skills. Younger workers learn from them. Mature workers are definitely willing to learn new things. We've definitely got evidence of that with our computer classes. And we have the computer classes now because you really need to be adept at using the computer no matter what job you have. I mean, who would think I would be in a computer all day long for my job, doing what I do, working in a senior employment program? But people really do need that skill in order to be able to successfully compete in the job market or to keep a job.
So you ladies are providing some of those skills to make them competitive, to make them raise their skill levels to a point where they can go back into the field.
Yes.
Okay. Kim, you said you have peer coaches. Where are they in the county? Okay, we have Darla and Westfield. Where else? Brockton?
Brockton.
Right. Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to bring it up.
What's going on in Brockton? Same types of
Brockton,
things?
Betsy Furman.
Mm-hmm.
She's excellent. I know her students. That's where I did a graduation. I know her students are very fond of her. She puts a lot of her heart into the job. She enjoys her job. Deb Keller and Olean. I haven't interacted with her that much. But
So you're way over there. Okay.
Right.
So you're two-county?
Yes, we're
Chautauqua,
responsible
Cattaraugus.
in Cattaraugus.
Wow. Get around.
We did have a computer training program on the two Native American sites, the reservations. We had one right there near Silver Creek Reservation, and then one in Salamanca. We had that for a number of years.
Okay.
And we had Native Americans as peer coaches.
Marie, when you're working with these folks and they want to get back into the job market, do they try to be like cool, like younger people, or do they try to change the way they're dressing, or what are your recommendations to them? I mean, again, I don't want to get into the age discrimination, but they also want to fit in. So how do you fit in?
Well, like Linda was saying, I think this is an opportunity to remind people that they have wonderful skills and how to present that to an employer. And I think if you have that enthusiasm, that a job, you're going to have a chance to find a job, and you're going to convince the employer that I'm a really good fit for your organization. I'm going to represent your organization in a really positive way.
Are you finding they're getting full-time jobs or part-time jobs? What's the trend line out there right now?
I think that depends on the person and whether they would like a full-time job or whether they would like a part-time job. And I think, you know, that again, it's helping people identify what it is they want and how much they, and that includes how much they would like to work, the type of work that they would feel happy to do. And I think that going back to the enthusiasm is really ageless.
Sure, right. Linda, if people are watching right now, maybe they have a small business or they know someone that has a small business. Are you looking for any particular job openings or opportunities in any particular fields, or how would they get a hold of you? Or let's make some connections here.
Well, people should call.
Okay, where do they call?
They call me at the Mayville Chautauqua County Office for the Aging.
Okay.
The main number is 753-4471.
Right there. I feel like I'm at the telethon here.
Yep.
I get my hand working. It's backwards.
And also, there's New York Connects.
Okay.
And that's a wonderful information and referral service. And I get a lot of referrals from that for our program. And the number is 753-4582.
Okay, right there.
And I have one of these little, if you'd like one of
A
these.
little magnets, yeah. I think I have one somewhere.
Brought a
I'll put
lot
it
of them
there.
with me.
Okay. So, the subsidized work. Okay, I'll throw this out to whomever wants to handle this. An employer might say, well, I got this job 20 hours a week. I need somebody to do whatever. What about workman's comp? What about insurance? What about? How's that all work?
Well, every situation is different. If one of our host agency supervisors gives a job order, naturally we try to fill it. And we try to place people at what we call the host agency where they want to be. We like to send them out on more than one interview, like any interviewing situation, but a place where they want to be to enhance their skills. And then from that point, we encourage the host agency, should they have an opening and the funding, to hire this person. So actually, it works out very well if we place a person, for example, I always found that retired farmers love to be outside. They love to
They're
drive.
outstanding in their
They
field.
love to be drivers. So we'll put them on maybe as a driver's escort with our carts or Meals on Wheels. And then when an opening occurs, then they get hired off of our program, and they're paid by the host agency themselves.
So do you have a list of people with skill levels and that have received some computer training, have worked with Marie on their personal attributes, how to present themselves? And do you have like a list of people that say, someone calls up and says, I need
Oh, yes.
a whatever?
Yeah, we have a skills inventory.
You do?
Well,
so how many people are in that pool?
Well, they're on our waiting list.
Okay.
What we try to do is match the person up according to their skill levels and interests and desires at a host agency that would utilize that would enhance their abilities. For example, you wouldn't take this retired farmer and put him at a desk in an office. I mean, that would be, unless they really wanted to do that. Sometimes they would be. They're very versatile. That's not to say they're not. But just to give you an example.
Their comfort level wouldn't be there probably. Yeah.
Well, if they want to be outdoors. Some people want to be outdoors.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Some people enjoy that freedom. Some people don't care to be traveling about. They like the office setting. They like the routine. We emphasize versatility, but also putting you in an area where your interests are. And it's not necessarily according to your previous work experience. We tell people to look at skills that they have developed as hobbies. And very often people can take a hobby that they have and turn that into a job. I can give you a wonderful example. We had a woman who, this was some time ago, who worked as an administrative assistant. And she just wasn't able to, the business had closed and she wasn't able to keep up with her skills. And she fell on very challenging economic times. And so she was in one of our workshops and we were talking about using your skills, your volunteer work and your interests. And she said, you know, I love to hang wallpaper. I just love to hang
wallpaper.
Yes.
Oh my. You got to understand something. That strikes a chord to me because I'm not allowed to paint or hang wallpaper in my
I hang
house.
wallpaper.
I am horrible.
But you wouldn't want to pay me for it. It takes me forever.
You and my wife should get together. Oh my God, I'm not allowed anywhere near that stuff.
Doug taught me how to hang wallpaper.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So anyway, so how did she turn this around?
Well, we said, you love to hang wallpaper? Yes. Oh, I have all the tools, the boards, everything. Oh, who do you hang wallpaper for? Oh, all my friends. We said, do you charge? Oh, no, I don't charge. We said, do you realize the valuable skill you have in Chautauqua County with all these homes that are being renovated? We have a need for somebody to hang wallpaper.
Wow.
We got her started in her own business.
Okay.
And helped her advertise.
Really?
She got so busy, she couldn't keep up with it, and she took her winters off to go to Florida.
Wow, success story.
That is a real success story. And that's taking a hobby, not even a previous job experience.
Wow. Okay, let me jump around here a little bit more. Darla, how did you get into computers?
Well, I originally was in the healthcare field. I took care of people with both elderly people or if they had mental health, mental retardation issues. Physically, I can no longer do that due to a disability. And I went to work actually in Jamestown doing some data entry and answering phone calls, and then decided, you know, I would like to do that. I got a hold of Linda and said, you know, I'd like to be part of your, you know, senior employment program, and said that this is where I think my strong points are. I do know computers and how to do data entry and do other things on computers. I would be good in maybe an office setting.
So you kind of did an evaluation, like you were saying. Wow. Okay. With computers, it's constantly changing, constantly. How do you keep up with all that?
by getting on the computer. There is so much information, and it's what I tell people when I help them. If you come in and you ask for help and I don't know how to do it, we're going to find out together. So I go online and I type in the question. And then we look at it and we're like, well, that's how you do that.
My ice maker wasn't working on my brand new refrigerator. So I went out on the internet and found a bunch of videos and explanations. I tried them, didn't help, but there's things out there, right?
There most certainly is things
So
out there.
cool.
Anything that you don't know how to do. I mean,
You're fearless.
now everybody is, switching to the Windows 10, and it can make people nervous. It's simple. Get on to the internet and ask. How do you work Windows 10? What are the differences in Windows 10?
If somebody wants your computer training, what does it cost?
It does not cost them anything. It is free. They will come to the library.
No enrollment, nothing.
Shoo. Free computer training. But you got to be 55 years on up.
You can be a little younger.
No.
You can go a little younger?
Yes.
Okay.
At Patterson Library, when somebody comes in, I don't say, well, you're
How old
too
are
young
you?
for this,
Show
or you're
your
too
proof.
old
Show
for
me your
this.
card.
Anything. I just
Are you old enough to be on a computer?
I just assist them. I am there Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
Okay.
And
From what time? What time to what time?
on Tuesdays, I begin at 2, and I am there, I'm there from 9 o'clock in the morning until 2. On
Okay.
Wednesdays and Thursdays, I'm there from 10 o'clock in the morning until 3.
Nice. So this isn't just a walk-in program? I mean,
People can start with a walk-in program, and then I can make appointments with them as to when they're going to come back, so I can allot some time for them.
okay. How many people are you working with now?
Right now, I'm pretty much, as a walk-in, people need help
Okay.
here and there.
Kind of comes and goes. Same number, the 753-4582 number? They need to get hold of you?
They can do
New
that,
York
or they
Connects.
can call Patterson Library
Okay.
and speak to anybody at Patterson Library, and if during the hours that I am there, I can talk to them and set up an appointment for them to come in, or they can just come in, introduce themselves, and I can find out what do you need, because not everybody needs the same level. Some people already have basic computer skills, but they want to learn how to do a little bit more, and I am there to assist them in doing that.
Okay, now let's see if I got the whole thing set up now. They might start with you, get an evaluation, you might send her to her to get some computer skills, and then Kim oversees all the peer coaches. Kim, you're in Brockton, you're in Westfield, and what was it, the other ones?
Olean.
Olean, okay. And how many people are involved? Do you have a number of people that you're working with right now? Do you
You
have any?
mean students? Or
Yeah, students.
I'd say probably about 10.
Okay, okay. And
They're supposed to be small because it's one-on-one.
yeah.
But we've trained well over 1,000 people since we
Wow,
started.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, there's no right around
I
here.
don't want to interrupt.
You can't interrupt me. I'm used to that.
Now, let's see if I can remember what I was going to say. No, what I wanted to mention is that we're trying to set up computer cafes with tablets.
Oh,
And
goodness.
we're getting funding from our Senior Service America Incorporated to be able to do that, so that we can buy the tablets and that people can meet at certain areas.
Like a restaurant or
There's a group of
McDonald's?
people that meets in McDonald's.
Absolutely, I know. in
On
Westfield
Friday
there
afternoon.
is a
Yes.
coffee group. Very cool, and that's really nice. It's very leisurely.
But they've done that on their own. I was
Sure.
just very, very pleased to see that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's now skip over. You process them perhaps on the phone. They might get some skills from you. You're overseeing the whole project. Now they're ready for a job. Let's go back to getting the job. Do you do practice interviews with them or get them?
Yes.
Because I would think they would be very nervous. I would think, unless they're very gregarious and they were always comfortable. But most people I know that they're going for a second or third career, they're kind of tense.
Sure, you want to practice your interviewing skills, but again, it's also, as you said, learning not to be nervous and being confident in the skills that you have, and remembering that you're bringing something that's really valuable to your employer as well.
You know, I think a lot of people sell themselves short that are seniors, because think about this, I do anyways, is that think of all the training we've had, thousands of hours and dollars that companies or agencies have put into each one of us. We walk in there, we have value. Now, it might be a little outdated, but as you say, it doesn't take much to get you up to speed. So yeah, we don't value ourselves as much as we probably should. Would you say that some of these jobs that you hook people up are like paid internships?
No, most of them are really jobs right, what you might say in the economy. You were saying earlier about there are jobs out there, and again, thinking about how you translate the skills that you have to the jobs. One of the things is remembering that there are skills, as Linda said, that do translate to finding a job. And for seniors, it's really helping to remember, and again, what I said is remember that you are really valuable to the job market, and you're valuable to employers.
One of my favorite things when I was in college, I worked for a number of senior ladies. They were all widows. And I did a lot of housework for them and gardening and things like that. And a lot of times they'd say, hey, come on, sit down for 5 minutes and, have a cup of tea or whatever. And I just sat there and I was mesmerized by the stories they had and suggestions for me. And they really, made me think about my own life, because they were just happy to share wisdom and experience. And, you might not want to do it that way. I had like five extra grandmothers in my life, and it was just great. And again, like you say and I said, is we have value, and we're happy to share that. And it's so nice to see, like you were saying, Linda, a senior working with younger people, kind of coaching them, kind of saying, don't sweat the little stuff, I've been there, but, just to be there sometimes. And it's a good
the
pairing.
seniors know the ropes.
Yeah.
They've been around the track. We're not evaluating them just on potential, as very often we have to with a less mature worker, even though they may have enthusiasm and eagerness to learn the job. The mature worker knows.
Is there a particular area of Chautauqua County that you need workers in right now that you're getting calls for?
Well, we do have a very high demand for home health aid workers.
Okay.
And I think I've called in, we are screening for them. And we have agreements with a number of places, and if they're not for profit, I can put them in training right as a senior participant, as a CSEP or senior aid participant, and then when they complete their training, they'll be hired. So the healthcare industry is on what they call the occupational demand list. There's certain occupations in certain areas that there is a high request for, and that there is a very high request for that. Also, I think Mary Ann mentioned on your show that 30% of the population in Chautauqua County
yes, you gave me the numbers.
60 and
It's
over.
staggering. Yeah.
30%.
Well, ladies, we have a minute left. I told you it was going to go quick. So anybody want to jump in here? Okay.
I just wanted to
Yes.
say that the computer training that I do, you don't have to be looking for a job through the senior employment program. Maybe you're a senior who only wants to learn some skills because it's a way to keep in touch with your family. Or
It's a life skill.
Yes. Or you're somebody who just would like to learn a little bit more about computers. So I am there to assist you, whether you want to learn more to gain employment, or if you just want to learn more because it will help you stay in contact with your family members. Or
Okay, ladies,
We're
thank you.
almost out of time. I
Thank
want
you
to
for
say
joining. But
thank
yes,
you.
give me one more time, phone number and name to contact.
Well, our funding source is Senior Service America Incorporated. That's our major federal funding, and also the New York State Office for the Aging. You may contact me at 753-4471.